Hi everyone. Good night, and I'm super excited to kickstart my YouTube channel for after being away for a while. And for everyone that is watching me, that's come back to join this program, thank you so much. What if I tell you that with few Linux commands, you can change your identity, you can intercept traffic, and as well as redirect targets to fake websites. So today I will be teaching you basic networking command needed by an hacker, needed for you to be a great hacker because foundation really matters. So, disclaimer. This is a disclaimer. Whatever you learn here shouldn't be used unethically. Shouldn't be used unethically. It has to be used ethically. So whatever you learn here should be used ethically. And whatever you learn, if you don't really have the authorization to actually use it on the feed or professionally for now, you can in your own local environment, in your VM, you can set up multiple VMs and do all of these things. You can recreate them. That is how I learn. What I've always been doing is whenever I learned about anything, I try to recreate them, exploit it, and try to patch it. So without further ado, let's jump into the lesson for today. And like we've always been doing, we are following. Like we've always been doing, we are actually following. We are using this particular textbook, Linux Basics for Hackers. So let's jump into it. It's good to have you here. What do I have here? Okay. Now, so like I said, in this era, it is beautiful to be in this era that we are now, era of AI, and we are going to be combining, we are going to be using AI coupled, we are going to be using AI with our learning also. So I'm going to show us how I use AI when learning and when studying. So I want to be the doer of whatever it is that I am preaching. So let's kickstart. So we'll be starting on chapter 3. That was where we stopped. Chapter 3. Yeah. So we're starting from chapter 3. And if you haven't seen my previous tutorial, they're on my YouTube channel. If you look either the right or the left hand side, you are going to see recommendation to any of those some of those videos. And you can actually just go to my channel, go to the videos. You can filter from latest. You can filter, then just go through the videos we have. They are not too much now, but I promise you in the next 1 month we are going to have a lot of videos there too. We are going to have a lot of videos talking about critical things about hacking, practically practicing them. And one thing I will be doing again is we are going to practically, after every lesson, like tomorrow, all of what we've learned today, we'll talk about, okay, how can we practically use it? Because even as we're learning, I will practically use it, then we'll try to create scenarios. Maybe when we're done with the chapter, we're going to create a scenario and see how we can use it, and probably we can create some few script from there, and that would be it. So we're looking at analyzing and managing network. Analyzing and managing network. For you to be a great penetration tester, for you to be a great cybersecurity expert, you need to understand network, because network is the building block upon which every other thing is built. So when we're talking about networking, understanding networking is crucial for aspiring hacker. In many situations, you will be hacking something over the network. So that's the major reason, because most times you are hacking something over the network, and a good hacker needs to know how to connect and interact with that network. For example, you may need to connect to a computer with your IP address. Also, your IP address is your own they call it address. Is your own address. Whenever you are connecting to anything, your address will be presented as the source, while where you are going to is the destination. You understand? It's just like me moving me moving from one place to another. Most times I travel from here down to Lagos, and I have to know where I'm going to, and I know where I'm coming from. So it's all about destination and source. So which is the address. So I have the textbook here. I have another write-up that I've done here, just where I broke some of those things down. Because what we'll be talking about today, we have legacy. The legacy tool is ifconfig. While it's the modern one now, it has been modernized, and we have another tool that we use. So we are going to combine. We are going to compare both of them. So I'll be using both these. So I'm not solemnly using this textbook alone. I have a note that I've already drafted that I'll be using. I have this that I'll be using. So the reason why I'm having this here, is because we'll be using AI also. So let me just open my ChatGPT here, and we have our notes here. Then let me start up my VM. Let me start up my VM. Okay, this is my VM. Okay, let's just have it halfway so I can switch between these materials. So I can switch between the materials. I would like to just have it here. So we can switch between the materials we have beneath and this. So we're looking at a critical thing we have to look here is IP. We're talking about internet protocol. Internet protocol. So an address hidden from view, you may need to redirect it, target, domain. So IP address literally. So this is the reason why I said we'll be using AI. Some of those things are I won't be talking about the literal definitions and all of that. If you really want to know what an IP address is, that is the more reason why I'm going to be combining AI. So you can actually just ask AI, what is an IP address? If you are not familiar with it at all, what is an IP address? And prompt engineering is good. You can say explain to me like a 10 years old, like a 10-year old, like a 10-year old. So like I've said, IP address is basically address. So on the internet, okay, let's see. So on the internet, for all of our machines, I mean our laptops, our computer, they have IP addresses. They have IP addresses. So we have private and public IP address. So when we talk about public IP address, public IP address is what you find on the world. We call it a wide area network and the local area network. The private IP address is within your own network at home. Now, like right inside my house now, I have a router, I have my I have my laptop, I have my phone. My phone is connected to my router. So between my system, my router, my phone, we have private IP address because we are right sitting inside a network altogether. It's not that maybe we are going outside yet. So the ability for me to connect outside is because the router can speak outside. So the router will carry the router will have the public IP address. So each and every one of us connected to the router, whenever we are going out, we are going into the internet using the router. So the router public IP address is what we are using. So we can always check that. So first thing is, let's even do this. If you want to check the IP address, your current IP address, you can use ifconfig.me. So once you do this, this is the IP address. This is the IP address I'm using. And there's a lot you can do with this. So me looking at this IP address now, so if I want to dig, so later talk about investigating IP addresses. So I can pick these IP addresses, copy, come down to my terminal and say, okay, I want to do a little bit dig about this IP address. So let's do, I can do, first of all, ping. Ping is just to see if it is reachable and definitely sure it's reachable. When I ping the IP address, why is it not going? That should be my IP address. Yes, I should be able to. Let's do this. Let's clear. Let's do ping cnn.com. I want to be sure that I'm actually able to. Oh, I can actually go to the internet now. Okay, let me just do the configuration. Let me do my configuration. Right. Okay, first of all, let's do ifconfig 168 168 it's going to update VM settings. VM. We used to share the host IP address. Okay, let me just address the IP address on my system then. I'll continue from there. Okay, yeah, everyone, sorry for the break. So if you find yourself in a situation where like what happened initially when I tried pinging or trying using this ping dot any domain name that you know. Domain name is just the name of the website. So let's use the famous one, that cnn.com, like this. So this should show that it's reachable because it's reaching it and it's bringing back and sending back data. So let me stop this. What I did here, in case in case after switching your Kali, your network is not going. So what I did was to just come to settings. Initially, I have this on NAT. So I just took it to custom, then come down here, look at where you have NAT, network address translation. So pick the NAT, that's what I did. Click OK, step out, and you will notice here that you have your network will disconnect. So I can actually disconnect it myself. It disconnect and reconnect by itself automatically, and you should be able to actually test and know that your network that you're able to reach, you're able to connect outside of your own network. That means there's connectivity. So like we're saying, like I did here, check my IP address. The IP address. This is the IP address of my. I'm actually using my phone, and this is the IP. This is the public IP address. This at this particular point now, this particular IP address is only addressed to me. So anybody that sees this online, or anybody I communicate with, any resource I communicate with, is going to have this as my home source IP address to them. You understand? They like if I'm sending something to them, I'm going to send my own IP address to as the source, so that when it's coming back, it knows where to trace me back to. So the way you identify individual on the internet is by their IP address. And the reason why IP address, the reason why we have domain name is because it's very difficult for human to actually process IP. That's why we have domain name. So domain name is just like when we have a phone book where you have someone's phone number and you register a name on it. So instead of you typing their phone number every time, you just go to their name, grab the name, and you just message them and you can reach them. So I won't say more than that. And if you need to learn more about it, if you want to understand, come to your ChatGPT, come to your AI, any AI you're using, and ask question. So here now, it says, all right, imagine you are writing a letter to a friend, you see. Instead of saying to my friend, you need to know their house address. To the mailman, no, okay, to my friend, you need to know their house address. So the mailman knows exactly where to deliver it. An IP address is like a house address for a computer. You understand? Like what I just said is just like an house address. So every device, okay, I said every device like a computer can connect to the internet has a special number. This number is called an IP address, which stands for Internet Protocol Address. It's empty. So what I'm trying to say is you can ask it tons of questions. So I won't bother myself about the trivial things of defining, explaining too much. We just talk about practically on how to use these commands. So, okay, let me teach you one. There's a particular trick again. If I want to get my IP address, I can do call. Call is a command. It comes with your candy, so you don't need to bother yourself. Just do call ifconfig.me. That same website we went to the other time. Just call it. It's going to give you your IP address. So that is it. And one beautiful thing I want you to realize is when I ping CNN, he came back with he resolved it to an IP address because it is with this IP address it could reach CNN. So if I copy this IP address and bring it out here and put it in my URL, it should take me to CNN. Okay, let's see. HTTPS this it should. So advance, say proceed. Does not match any subject or TLS certification. I don't know the reason why I'm having this. Let's see. I for this 443. Or possibly it has a multiple IP addresses. Okay. Let's try for. Let me try. Let's try for Google. I will have to research that on Google.com. Okay. Oh, Google.com is not even giving us that. Okay, we send it. Yes, it's copy. Let's come and let's do this here. You see, this takes us to Google. I will research why. You see, that's one of those things. It's how like what we have initially. Whenever I have situations like this when I'm working, I can just take this and say copy. So as we're learning how to research also. Why do I get this when I used the IP address of CNN? CNN.com, CNN.com to reach the website. So I come down here, put this here, and okay, I can see this is the IP address. This was the IP address. So I have that here. So I can just push this button now and let's see what it's going to tell us. TLS. And the reason why this is saying because of TLS. TLS is a transport layer. Okay, transport layer security. I can check that again. TLS certificate. Okay. So now you said great question. You are diving into something a bit technical, but let me explain. Simply using your 10-year-old friend style, then had okay. You try to go to CNN website using just the IP address instead of typing okay. But websites on the internet are kind of picky. You see, it's not all websites that allows that. They wear special security patch called certificate. Another one. When you knock on the door using just the IP address, the website says, "Hold on, you didn't ask for CNN by name, so I don't know who you are." Okay, I get. It's all about the configuration and the certificate level here. So you can read more about that. So that's not what we are actually dealing with. Okay. So now let's go back to business. The reason why we are here. So we talked about internet and we talked about DNS. Domain name system. So domain name system is what helps us match a domain name to IP address. So the reason why what I did here was successful was because of domain name. What I did here was I pinged google.com and I got the IP addresses because first of all, when I sent out the network, what it did was to go look for Google and what is the IP address associated to Google. It got it and returned it back. So that's why I have what I have here. I hope you understand. So let's move. This chapter shows you some Linux tools for analyzing. Let's move on to analyzing network with ifconfig. Ifconfig is one of the basic tools for examining and interacting with active network interfaces. Okay, you can use this to query your active network connection by simply entering ifconfig. So now, if you just go to your terminal, let's clear this. I'm pretty sure we've talked about. Okay, let me see. Let me bold on this. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing properly. So clear. Also clear. This one I do if config. So this is what it gives me, and what it gives me has actually been I've actually been broken down here. So the first one is we have your Ethernet. This is your here. Okay, this is we have your Ethernet. This has changed a bit. That's why the formation has changed a bit. I don't think we have. Okay, it's still the same thing. We have your Ethernet and we have the flag. So the information about your internal IP address is this. So because we're using ifconfig to how would I say audit our internal network. So the first part, which is one, is your Ethernet, which is short form for Ethernet. Linux start counting by this. This is the first wired network connection. So now, if you look at, let me show you something online. Picture. Let's check picture of the Ethernet adapter and Ethernet cable. I think yeah, we have a cable like that. So some people should be familiar with it. Now, you see, if we look at our system, most of our system has this particular port. If you look at that your system, and before now, most times when you go to cafe or go to where you want to browse, you have a wired connection where you will just plug in. Let me see if we have. Okay, look at this cord here. Look at this cords here where you have cords like this. Okay, now look at it. Look at this cord here. Exactly what we're looking at. So this is before the rampant era of Wi-Fi. So this is what we use. You have to connect your system to a wire that supplies the connection to your system, and you'll be able to browse. So this is what the Ethernet. So right inside the system or your PC, then you have the interface that the Ethernet port is connected to. So that is your Ethernet. So that Ethernet has information, and that is the information we are getting. It is on that information, is on that Ethernet that our IP address is going to be mapped to, the IP address we got internally. So I don't know if we've spoken about private and public IP address. We have class A, class B, and class C. And there's one we call them a PIPA. So basically, we are just focusing on what we are focusing on. So let's go back. I just wanted to just show us that. So Ethernet, that's the Ethernet I'm talking about. The reason why we're having Ethernet here is if you look closely at what we have here, we are using a wired network. So how this thing happens is, since we're using an hypervisor, which is a VM, the VM, the VM is like another system connected to, is another system that my host system, which is my own physical laptop, is giving network to using a wire. That is the ideology. You can read about the host and VM relationship in terms of connection. Assuming I have an external Wi-Fi adapter that I plugged into this, I can actually have access to it on the VM. So that would just be a direct connection between my VM and the wireless adapter, and the wireless adapter will now be the source or the gateway for which this VM, this particular Kali, can communicate with the internet. I don't know, maybe you understand. So always remember that you have an internal IP address, you have a public IP address. I've told you how you can get your public IP address, and we're talking about how you can see your private IP address. So with this private IP address now, like now I have four devices right inside this house. So and they are connected to my phone. If I go to my phone and go to my hotspots and go to all those devices that are connected to my hotspots, I can see the IP address. Either I see the MAC address, or I'm going to talk about that MAC address or IP, the private IP address of the system. So that's why sometimes if you go to a cafeteria, you go to an office where they give free IP, they give free wireless network. The moment you connect to that network, you'll be assigned a private IP address by the DHCP, which is a DCP of the source, the access point, either your router or that. If that gives you IP address, once it gives you IP address, then you are included, and they can see you. They can use that to block you or block you out and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about some of those things. So let's just run through this. After that, we have the second one, the high net. This is our okay. This is this no, this is the okay. This is inet. Inet is now the private IP address that we're talking about. So this inet is our private IP address. Is the private IP address that we're giving. And if you look at mine, it's 128. But what we have here is one. So it could either be statically set or is dynamically issued. So we'll cover that also. So the next thing is we have netmarks. With this netmarks, netmarks gives us the ability to understand our private IP address and the network it is connected to. The net help us understand the network it's connected to, and probably what the range of the IP address in that pool will be. So if we come to this is first one, we have HW here. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, this is one. And type of network used, Ethernet is listed next, followed by hardware and an address. So this is a globally unique address stamped on every piece of. Okay, this is for this Ethernet, and flag. Would this now be okay? This is a okay. Now every adapter we have MAC address. This is the MAC address for this. Let me see if I can see if there's any MAC address here. Okay. Yeah, this is the MAC address for the heater. This is it. This is the MAC address for this now. So if I should take this MAC address is unique to any let's copy this. It's unique to devices. It's unique. So nobody can share the same. So let's go to check MAC address. Let's see if we can. Okay, let's take a MAC address lookup. Let me plug it in here and let's check. So you see that VM will come up definitely. It should come up as a VM. It should come up now. Look at it. Okay, so look at it. It came up as a VM. So this is registered, and no any other device no any other device hardware that can take this what do we call it? I can take this MAC address. Now, MAC address, the first two octets, which is 123, I'm talking about 123, is unique to the product itself. While this is to identify the device, yeah, if I can still remember very well. So, if you actually want to understand it, you can actually pick it, copy it, and plug it into your AI and said, okay, somebody once said that it's like MAC address is split into two. One particular part of it is to identify the product, and the other part identifies the device. So it's going to run you through, or just tell AI, okay, based on the information you have, based on what you know, explain MAC address to me, the usefulness, what are the significance, and what makes it unique, and all of that. So you will get that. We don't need to dwell much on that. Let's move. So so here now, let's look at 2 here. Now the second line contains the information on the IP address currently assigned to the network interface. Network interface. That's the NIC. Network interface. So the network interface. Even on our system, we have network interface. So let me check. let me use my host system as an example. Let me go to Ethernet. Let's go to Ethernet setting. Yeah, if you come to this place, okay, network, Ethernet. Where is it? Okay, this is Ethernet, and this is IP assigned edit. Let me see. No, cancel. If you take a look at, okay, look at my MAC address here. Just like what we just checked over there, this is my MAC address. And if we dig in, I can see my IP address too. Okay, this is automatically given. That is why we have DHCP there. Save. Okay, DNS server is automatic also. Is there anything I can run? IP speed test. There should be a way I can check. It's because I'm using, this is Windows 11. If I go to, what do we call it? What do we use to call settings then? Let me see if I can grab it. Let's see. What do we call it? Control. Is it control panel? Okay, yeah. So let's go to control panel. We are going to network. Come to network. We come to connect to a network. So I think it's network and view the bar. Okay, here. Then I can come to change adapter settings. Now look at what we have here. See, now this is my Wi-Fi. This is my Wi-Fi interface, network interface. So I have Ethernet. I have Ethernet 2. I have Ethernet 3. This Ethernet 1, I think it should be for how many ports do I have on my system? I think I have like 2. And this is for the VM, the one we are using. This is the particular one we are connected to now that we're using for browsing on my VM. This is the network, and we have our this Wi-Fi. This Wi-Fi is what I'm using for browsing. And if we check it, we can see that the signal, okay, we have byte sent out and byte received. So I'm just trying to just show us, and I think if we come to details, now if we come to details, now physical address is my MAC address. This is the MAC address here. This is the description for my interface, and this is the IP address. This is the subnet max, same thing as the network max that we were looking at the other time. So later we might talk about this, or I can just point you out to videos that talks much about this. So we won't be actually dwelling much on this too much. And if you look at my IP4 and look at my gateway, I have my gateway here. So that means my gateway that is acting as a DHCP for this network, which is my phone Wi-Fi. And so that's all on this part. So I think this is IPv6. Yeah, this is IPv6. So that's just what I want to show us. Just trying to just ensure that I'm able to just touch what I'm supposed to touch. So before we now dive into coding, so the type of network followed by this. So bcast. So broadcast. This is our broadcast. This broadcast is telling us the number of IP. Let's see what they talked about. So broadcast address, which is the address used to send out information to all IP on the subnet. Okay. So now, for within my like I make a sample before within my network right inside this house. So this particular IP address is what is used to connect. So wherever you see this, this is what I use. This is what my device here is going to be using to speak to all other IP address within. So because they can actually communicate with each other depending on the configuration we have on the router. So after that, we have IP. Okay, now we have loopback IP address. Let's come back. Loopback IP address is the same thing as our local host. So which is short form for loopback address. It is something called localhost. This is a special software address that connects you to your own system. So now I will do something with that. Let's do Kali. If I look at my localhost, is there a way? Okay, now there's a way we can check the IP address of the localhost within your system. So all you need to do is cat etc/hosts. If you do this, if you look at, I think these are some of the setup I did there. If you look at my local host now, look at it here. So the IP address for my local host is uh, so a simple way. I know we've talked about grep before, so I can just say grep localhost, localhost, localhost. If I do that, it brings out all the particular place where I have local host. So I can do, we can do. So if you look at this IP address now, and if you ping this IP address, it should be reachable. Ping one two, or you can just do ping localhost. So it's because you are speaking to yourself. So you see, it's not giving you any IP address here. So let me stop this. I use the Control Z to stop this, and we can do ping 127.0.0.1. So if we do the same thing, and this is still reachable, so clear. So there's one thing I want to show us. Let's see. If you have any, if you have a web page hosted on your system, majorly you can use your local host to reach out to it. Let me see if I have an SSH that is running. If I have if I have any server running on my, if I have my, what do we call it again, Apache running on my Linux, so I can do localhost. Okay, I have some few things running before. Oh, it's not. I don't want to dive into that too much. So we'll talk about that later. So the third connection, we're done with loopback IP address. This is what we have here, and the last part of it is the wireless, which is LAN. But remember that for my own system, we're using. Let's go back to ifconfig. Ifconfig. Yeah, I'm using my Ethernet, not Wi-Fi. I only have loop. This is loopback. I have loopback address here. That is why look at the IP address here. Look at it here. So there's several ways you can. There are several ways you can get these IP addresses and get these things out. So once you are done, this is Wi-Fi. I'm not using Wi-Fi. Assuming we are using Wi-Fi, it will have been listed here as WLO like what they have here. Because I'm pretty sure he is this particular Occupy the Web is using a Wi-Fi. That's why he has this. That's why he has this up, or probably because the way he installed his own Kali is quite different. I'm using a plug and play Kali, but I'm going to do a video on how you can install Kali as if you are installing a fresh OS on a system that you just bought on your VM. I'm going to do a video about that before weekend. I'm going to drop that. So from here now, I think we've addressed the common things we want to address. So the next thing we needed to do is now let me switch back to the document I've prepared. Now I spoke about ifconfig being a legacy tool. What you can do with ifconfig now has been, should I say, updated. Instead of using ifconfig, seasoned professionals are supposed to move to using IP because IP is more robust. And I'm going to drop a link to this document for anyone that's interested in it. So what we're going to do now is let's quickly just compare and contrast. What I'm going to do is okay, let's see if we can push this. Let's stretch this out, and I can split this into two apps. Okay, so now we are going to compare and contrast. See, so clear. So let's do ifconfig. Let's see what it gives us, and let's do now in this document. Maybe come to talk about ifconfig. So if you are using the modern one, which is IP address, so you just use IP link show. So we do so. Yeah, one of those things that makes a lot of people run away from tech is because you think you're supposed to memorize everything. Please do not memorize. What you use always will stick. They will stick, and what you are not using always, you don't need to check your Google. Have proper documentation. I'm going to talk about documentation also. I have where I document most of what I do. So I think I'll talk about that. So what I do is I have one note that I use for all of my documentation. I have one note that I use for all of my documentation. So I document most of everything I do. Like every fucking thing I do, I document. Because anytime I need it, I can just go back to it. Anytime I need it, I go back to it. Anytime I need it, I go back to it. This was when we were starting up Elevate DevOps and we started, but it crashed. So I write um, for a particular company. So I'm so heavy on documentation. So wherever I go to, I can just log in, pick up all my tools, and I'm good to go. But that's not what we are doing now. Let's do IP link show. Now, let's compare this to this. This has more, how will I say, this is a bit pretty. This is a bit pretty compared to just the plain This is just like a plain text, and this is a bit like well fonted, a bit big, a little. And so if we look at this now, we have almost the same information we have here. We have the same information. We have hello, which is loopback, which is the first one we have here, and the second one is our Ethernet 0. This is our Ethernet 0, and the same. Okay, but this did not give us IP. This is just giving us those interfaces that are up, those interfaces that are working. That if you try to ping, it will react. Now let's see. Let's say if I ping. Let's say if I ping hello, will it work? No, no. Hello is a loopback. I'm just trying to clear. So let's do. Let me do this again. No. Let me do this again. Then, if I ping loopback, is going to work. If I ping our own IP address, is work. So if you look at this now, this is the what do we call it? This is the MAC address. So this is the MAC address for this Ethernet interface. And if we come here, it's the same thing as what we have here. Sure, you understand? So it's the same thing. So this one is just to show us that it's up or now. Let me see if we have mode default this. So what else can we gather from here? Link is loopback, link is ether. This is our this thing. Okay, that's now. If you look at this now, it shows us that it's up. Let me see if I drag this more. Let me do it again. It said up the mode. It means it's working. It's working. It's on. Up is on. Down is it has been shut down. So we are going to do some few things. So now I think we've been able to compare. So we'll be able to compare this and this. So let's look at what other command we have. Show all interfaces, including inactive. So any other interfaces that we have that is not active is going to show them. So that's what we do. Let's do ifconfig a. Let's clear this. Ifconfig a. No, it's because this is supposed to be a flag. So you have a. Okay, and again, remember. Okay, let's quickly do something. Remember in our previous tutorial, we talk about how to use man. I think man should work for ifconfig also. Yeah, it gives you. Now this means this -a, which is an option, you can call them flag also. Display all interfaces which are currently available. So if you actually now look at it, they said, oh, this flag causes the interface to be activated. Down is to deactivate. The flag causes the driver for this interface to be shut down. So promiscuous, enable to disable. Okay, enable or disable the promiscuous mode for the interface. If selected, all packets on the network will be received by the interface. So will be received by the interface. That means they use this one for if you want to analyze packets, analyze traffic. You use that. So what I'm just trying to say is there's a lot of options here. This I would like to take this particular time out to say very soon I'm going to be rolling out PDFs that is basically going to talk about particular tools, all of the options and how to use them. So stay put and look out for that. So if you want to quit here, you just press H for help or Q to quit. Q to quit. So let's go back to if. So what I want to do now is I want to do if config -a config-a. So now, and if we look at it, it's still the same interface because it's not that maybe we added any interface back to it. So it is still all we have here. And now, if we want to, you see this interface is up. If we want to shut it down, we can use this particular command, which is going to be ifconfig, then the name of the interface, then you use up and down, up or down. If config it 0, then down. Operation not permitted. Okay, the reason why this operation is not permitted is we are not a root user, but there's something we call sudo, which is you assume the privilege of root access. I think I've talked about that before in part of our tutorial. So if this is not working, just add sudo if config it ethernet 0, then down. So it asking me for my password. I've entered that. So if we look at it now, if we come back here, I think this should be down. Okay, disconnected. I want to be sure. I think this was disconnected, right? Yes. You show the network that is disconnected. Now, if we do, how do we even check if this is up or down using ifconfig? Because it doesn't show Let me see. But now, if we reuse this IP link show, if we come down to Ethernet 0, this Ethernet 0, it's showing that this is down now. And that was because of what we did here. It's showing down now. So this won't be able to communicate to the internet. If I do ping cnn.com, it's not really going. So this is a way you can temporarily shut down the interface, which is your Ethernet 0. So that interface is not, you shut it down, you don't want it to receive any packet again. And let's not forget that this is the medium with which your VM, your Linux is going into the internet. So we just stop that and just bridge that now. And I want to even see, this is where I said, now let's say how to check if interface is down or up using ifconfig. So most times, once you know something, you have an idea about it, you can always check online, check wherever you want. That's why I said programming is not about having everything in your head. You just know that, okay, I want to check if it's up or down. Now they said we're using ifconfig, then look for your interface. You will see this broadcast, this how to tell if it is up or down. Look at the flag. They said the flag now. Exactly. Look at this side. I missed it the other time. You see, my brother, just ask AI. Don't ask anybody any foolish question. So let's clear this. Let's do ifconfig, and let's go to the flag. But this is showing it's up. This is showing up. Are we actually up now? Are we actually up? No, this is down here, showing down, and this is showing up. Let's see what ChatGPT is saying. If it shows up, the interface is enabled. If it doesn't show up, it is down. So example of down interface would be flag this. But this is still showing up. I don't know the reason why, but so that's what they said is legacy, is code. It's showing up while it is already down because we can't actually do anything. I can't do call ifconfig me, it's not working. So let's clear this. Let's come back to this. So we are going to start it back. I just want us to, okay, let's bring it up back. I want to see if we can use IP to bring it up. Now, remember what we did was we used ifconfig to shut it down, and we're going to use IP link to bring it up. So I copy this, come here, use a copy shift, I use a control shift V, and put this up. Like this is not permitted also. Reason why? Because it doesn't have that privilege. So you add, let's go up. We have a, there's the sudo, this is up. We have Kali. So now this should be up now. Let's come back to do link, IP link show. So if we look at it now, it is back up. And if we come back to say ping cnn.com, we have this. Okay, we should be back in a moment. Okay, yeah, we are good to go. Let's come back to this place and say ping google.com. It should be working also. It should be working also. So let's clear this. Let's do if config again. So here we have we still have it to be up. Like it did not even budge the other time. So we can actually, okay, now we've been able to use, so we use ifconfig to shut it down, and we use IP link show up, right? IP link Ethernet 0. Okay, we did IP link set. Set means you want to set this. And if you are very familiar with this IP link stuff like that, it's going to make it very easy for you when you are doing proper networking, where you have to configure router, configure switch, router, switches, firewall. Yeah, that will make it very, very easy when you're configuring VLAN and all of that. So that makes it very, very easy. That makes it very, very easy. So like we've said, we are good with this. Let's come back here. Okay, now let's check our IP address. We want to learn how to change our IP address. This is where I said you can change your identity. So if my IP address has been spoofed, if my IP address has been identified or no. So let's check our IP address again. Let me clear this so we can see the front. So let's do clear. So now we have IP config. Let's do IP link show here. Let's do if config here. Now, what we are going to do now is this is our IP address. This is our IP address, and uh, okay, here if I want to see my IP address, we do IP addr show. So that gives me a full details of those um, interfaces. So this is supposed to give me the IP address. Okay, now look at the IP address here. Look at the IP address here and have the IP address here. So look at what I did here. Let me clear this now. So instead of using IP link show, that link is just to show those links which is at the interface. Or if you want to actually know the address, you use IP addr, which is address, and show. So this gives you this, and here we have this is the same IP address. So now we want to learn how to change this IP address. We want to be fast about this. So changing IP address, we can just put it up to ChatGPT, get something like that. So it's just about the command. You understand what you want to do. So what we want to do now is we want to assign IP address. Okay, look at it. IP address show. This one is to manage network interface. This is so I will have this shared. We have an IP address, hard disk, and a dev ethernet this. So now let's change IP. Let's change our IP address. Let's bring this here. So now our former IP address is 163. So I don't want to go out of that. Let's come out here. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Let's change it so that it will be obvious. So if I should press this, it might tell me no permission also. So you know what we are supposed to do? You can use your control A to go back to the beginning. You do your sudo and you do this. So now if you enter this command and you don't really have any, there's no output, there's nothing displayed, it shows that it works fine. So the next thing you have to do is now let's check our IP address. Let's do if config. So doing if config, the IP address did not change, right? Let's see. Okay, more probably maybe what we did was so obvious. Let's do this. Let's do the initial IP address is okay. It's 168.163. So let's do 163. So here we have 28. We have 128. Let's do 150. 150. And we have this, and let's do this now. So let's do if config. It still did not change. I think we might need to switch it. Let's do switch it on and off. So let's do if config. Is it not if config set it 0, then we'll say down. I don't know. Do I get it? Did I get it? So you don't need to cram it. If config it up, does it? Oh, I was using set there. So this, and remove this. We take this down. It's still not going. We use sudo, and it's working now. Clear. And we can check that by coming here to say IP link show. So this one is showing us that it's down, and we are good to go. So what we need to do is we want to change our IP address to 150. I mean, we have 4 octets here. This 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're changing the 4th octet, which is your host network. We're changing it to 150. If we do this, and let me use IP address show here to see if it has changed. It has changed. Look at it. This has changed. So we're able to change it when we switch it off. So we need to shut it down first. And let's use an if config here also to check. If config. Oh, we don't have the Ethernet here because we've shut it down. But this can still see it. So what we'll do now is let's do if config, then up. Let's bring this back to life. Up. Then we can now do if config to see. Now, if you look at it now, it has changed. So this is the aspect of you changing your IP address. This is you changing your identity. This is you literally changing your identity. So what is the procedure? The first thing we did was to shut down that interface, because when the interface is busy, it's quite very difficult for you to change the IP address. We shut the interface down, and the next thing we did was change the IP address, then bring back the and bring back the network. So we are going to do the same thing, and we have been able to do it, and I will want us to reverse it back to our IP address, which is 128. So all we are going to do is, let's clear. We do the same procedure. The first thing is shut it down, shut the interface down, down. We shut the interface down. The second thing we do is go up. We want to change the IP address now. So look at how we change the IP address. IP address add. So I just go 128. 128. That is done. But if we do ifconfig, we will not see the Ethernet 0 because it is not up yet. But remember that if you feel like, okay, I don't trust ifconfig, you can clear this, then come to IP address show. Okay, this shows you, but it's telling you that it is down. And remember that we've already changed it, but this is still showing. Okay, now look at it. Forever preferred. It's showing this, and it's showing this, which is the global one we are setting now. So if I should come back here and now say IP config, then we should bring it up. Clear. Okay, clear. If config. Now we should have. Oh, I thought we changed it. Okay. Did it work? This. Okay, first of all, let's say down. Come back here. We do sudo IP address add this. We come down to this place. We do 128. Okay, this is already assigned. Maybe it's still waiting. Already assigned. Okay, let's wait a bit. Let's say if config. What do we have? Okay, let's say this. Let's bring it up. Maybe we have to give it some time. Let's do this. Show. Okay, because the moment we register another IP address, it's still going to have it in his memory. So, but valid left, forever preferred. So, well, I'm pretty sure there should be a way around deleting one of it. So I can actually just copy this. So like we've said, don't ask this question around. How can I delete one of the iNet IP address, especially the first one? And we have this. So while that is, let's check if config. Let's see what it's giving us. We still have 150 there. So okay, let's see. It says you are looking to remove the IP address this from the network interface. You can do this using IP command. Okay, so this is how we do it. We just use this to delete it, and it's almost the same command we use to add it. We just change the add to delete. So we come here. We have that. We do that. We do clear. And I do IP address show, and this is back to 126. Let's see if config is going to register it also, and if config too has registered it. So now IP address, using IP as a tool is more robust and more convenient and more is great to use compared to using it as using an if config. So we've been able to change our IP address, bring it back. We've been able to remove it. Okay, let me see if I can add that to delete. Okay, if you want to delete, I've added this. Yeah, save. So if you want to show your route table, your routing table means if now we'll do something. You know, whenever you try to go into the internet, your IP address, your network will find its way to the mast will find its way to the nearest point, to the IP, to the destination you are going to. So what it does is it uses, internet is interconnected. That's why they call it interconnected network. So you sitting right inside your house, just having your router on, your router can actually be a passage to another hub that a traffic coming from another place passes through. So that is what internet is all about. So, but it doesn't disturb your home. It just passes through that point as a hub. Like, it's just like I'm going to a particular place and we have several thread of lines or road or paths that get to that particular part, and you look for the shortest possible route to where you are going to. So it's going to take those routes. So each of those routes is they are, how will I call it? They call them hops. So now what we want to do next is let's clear this. Let's clear. We want to see how to use IP route. We want to see how to use IP route, display routing table. So let's do IP route show. So this is showing us, this is our what am I going to call this? Is this our gateway? No, I want to say check something now. This should be our gateway because IP is 0. Is that 0 or 1 as your gateway? And this is our IP address, which is our source IP address, linked to our source IP address. So Ethernet protocol kernel. So another thing is, let me see how we can check our gateway from our ifconfig. We can see gateway, right? Okay, now let's do. How do we check gateway IP address? So gateway is that particular point, the last point that the traffic in your network gets to before it goes into the internet. And I'll find a way when we are going to configure routers, and that will be another thing, but we need to finish this course we are dealing with first. So let's see. No, stay logged out. I don't need to log in. Grab default. Okay, your default. Where's the default here? I saw it sometime ago. I saw the default somewhere here. So IP route default. Okay, IP route default. Okay. But so let's see. It's not showing. So the default is this. I'm pretty sure it's this. So that's our gateway. That's what I want to know. Or using an older system. Okay, route -n. Okay, yeah, we are correct. This is the gateway. The destination. Sorry. Destination, yeah, the destination is the gateway. We have gateway IP address here, gen mask, like this. Okay. Let me quickly check something again. So the destination, the gateway. I think this is mixing it up. It's mixing it up, but we actually get what we are looking for. Same idea. Look for the INN or default destination IP. Okay, default route print. There's a lot to route print. Route print. Okay, clear. So we are good. So now let's see. We want to check add default via this set default gateway. This is if I want to set default gateway. I don't want to mess up my. Don't want to mess it up now. What we have in mind is 00. So you don't need to mess it up. Here. Show app table. This is for just show copy. So we're going to talk about most of these things just for you to know them and they actually use them in configuration, and there are places where you can. So we'll talk about when and where to use them. I'm going to do practical tests tomorrow, and I'm going to. So this is not showing anything. Let's say IP neighbor is showing closest IP address to this my IP address, but this is not bringing out anything. Flush. This is to clear app. So we are actually check network status. Now, if you want to check the hop, that's what I was talking about the other time. If you want to check the hop, it's still not, let's do sudo network not reachable. Can't we ping Google now? Whoa. Okay, let's do IP ADDR show. Is it up or down? It's up now. If config. Okay, let's switch this off and on. Disconnect. This is one thing about messing up with network. Sometimes it tends to affect. Let's connect. Let's see if we are able to ping CNN now. It's not working. So let's do down, and let's bring it up back. Name resolution. What could have been the problem? What could have been the problem? So another thing is, let me just come back here. Come back to custom. So let me say okay first. Okay, then I go back in there. Settings. Come back to network. Okay, let me even try. Let's try this. Okay, still not working. Let's come to settings. Host. This. Come back to 0 here. Pick this. We are good. Let's clear this. Let's say ping. Temporary failure in name resolution. What could that be? So I think we're good now. So what I did was I came back here because this interface was shut down, so it was dead. So what I did now, I disconnected it again. What I did was to come here. If I this is disconnect, this is me disconnecting it. So I came back here and I just reconnected it back. And when we are done doing that, we are back as hot as I am clear. Here we have clear. So the last part. So we want to check route. Route is to check. We want to check the number of hops before we get to where this IP address is. Instead of using an IP address, we are going to use let's use google.com. Google should be very close to us. Google.com. Let me just say CNN.com. CNN.com. We might not be okay. Probably it has to be IP address. I'm coming. 88888. Okay. So this should be gateway this, and so it's telling us that's so fast. Let me do ping cnn.com. I'll pick the IP address there. Oh, remember that the IP address did not even work for us the other time, but let's see. Copy. Let's do IP route get this. Now, yeah. Okay, it's almost the same. It's catched. Oh, this is already. We talk about catching also. It's part of. How am I going to talk about catching? Catching is just literally that a particular website has been stored for a little while on your system. So instead of going back to that website to go collect all information, it will just pick it from the cache. So it makes it faster, and it's all about having seamless and little downtime when you are using a website. So it's part of the way that they improve the scalability of website. Oh, that's crazy! That's crazy. Okay, so we're done. So we show when and when to use that, and we start figuring some few things out. So this is for those who want to be rigid with ifconfig, but want to stay but want to be using IP-A. But I would just suggest you just master it. You don't need to do an alias. There's a way you do an alias, but I don't want to walk us through it. So IP-A gives you that's A. It's the same thing as IP ADDR show. The same thing. So it's just a short form. So let's clear this. And this brings us to the end of our class for this night. I'll see you tomorrow. If I'm not dropping a video tomorrow, then in the next 2 days we'll have a video that will be dropped. It's because of the editing. So if I can just pick it up and just put it on YouTube, that way it would have been super great. But So in the next by tomorrow, next tomorrow, we should get, yeah, we surely get, we will surely have the video. So love you guys. Thank you. So before you go, ensure you smash the like button and subscribe to our YouTube. Thank you. At terminals, I'm off. Don't worry, when I'm coming tomorrow, I'll come with my jug of coffee. Bye.